Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Dynamics 365 crash course. We'll give another 5 minutes. I can still see people are joining us, so if that's okay with everyone, we'll give another. It's 11:01. We'll give another 4 minutes for everyone to join. Thank you. All right, let's get started. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone, in whichever part of the world you are in. I guess it doesn't really matter where you are from now, with everyone working remotely. It has kind of shrinked the world and brought us all together. So I just hope you are safe and secure wherever you are. And welcome to my another episode of my webinar series, where I will be covering about the basics of Dynamics 365. So my name is Sunny Prince. I work in Ingram Micro as a solution architect. I work closely with partners here in Australia, enabling businesses to get up to speed in the D365 space. I also get involved all the way from enabling them in the technical space to providing I would call best practices to grow their businesses and also provide impactful outcomes to both the partner business as well as the customers they serve. So, if you ask me, how did I come up with this topic? So, the need for this webinar stemmed all the very fact from the very fact that when I went personally to explore if there was any quality content on D365 explaining in simple language what are the business applications that are available within the ecosystem, or what it can do for you as a customer or even as a partner, or how does it fit my industry. And apparently I couldn't find anything. And although I could find bits and pieces of information here and there, but there was no holistic overview of the information. So um, especially with partners reaching out to me and asking me, Sunny, we need to initiate and kickstart our businesses in D365. And do you have any piece of advice on how to acquire basic knowledge of Dynamics 365? So I thought it's a good idea for me to come up with this webinar. Before we get started, I would like to make some housekeeping announcements. So this session will be recorded, and the recording will be made available for on-demand viewing after today's webinar. So if you face any audio or video issues, please post your query in the Q&A panel, and one of my team members will address it. Also, if you have any questions other than that, you please feel free to ask that as well. So moving on. Okay, so sit back and grab a cup of coffee while I walk you through the agenda. So I'll be giving you a quick overview on the business application suite, and if you are trying to position an application or a business app, then what are the things you should know about the app? Or if you are implementing a business application, then what you should know. And finally, talk about D365 security and privacy policies. So I'll be quickly covering that specific topic because I don't want you to lose interest on the topic by hearing the same old SLAs, availabilities, infrastructure, turnaround time, infrastructure cost, etc. And followed by that, we'll have a Q&A session where you can post your questions, and I'll be more than happy to address. And post that, we'll have a polling session. So please, please, please participate in that polling session. That will help me understand your requirements in a more clear way. So it's just a quick 3 or 4 questions that I want you to participate and provide your insightful feedback on that. So the next 1 hour is going to be very intensive. So hold back onto your seats because I'll be trying to impart as much knowledge as possible about Dynamics 365. So one of my other main focus also would be to make sure I don't put you all to sleep. So we'll make this nice and short and easy. Okay. So now this is what I call the base. So don't get me wrong here, please. This is not the base that Megan was talking about in her song about, but this is business applications solution ecosystem. We call the acronym, I mean, the nomenclature is BASE. So what you are seeing here is the D365 ecosystem. In a nutshell, this is what we call as D365. So I will pause here for a moment for everyone to take a closer look into that ecosystem. So if you see, Microsoft released the second version of the Dynamics 365 ecosystem during the month of April 2020, so which is my next slide that I'll be showing you shortly. In simple definition, Dynamics 365 is a cluster of various business applications. You can think of Dynamics as a set of connected modular SaaS applications and services designed to both transform and enable your core customer employee, and business activities. So, so, I tried to do my best in bringing up all the modules together in one single slide that you can see on your screen, and to make it more visible at the same time. Although the functionalities underneath the modules and the number of applications are not very clear in this slide, but I just wanted to show you how big is the Microsoft Dynamics ecosystem. Now, I'm not going to talk about the history and how they evolved, because we are not doing a research on Dynamics 365 here. For all those who are doing a PhD and interested to learn more about D365, it might take another literally a lifetime to cover all that historical data. So the entire D365 ecosystem can be broken down in modules, and every single module can be broken down into individual applications. So Dynamics 365 is not anymore just about CRM or ERP, but it is a holistic portfolio of various applications. Not only does it combine CRM and ERP capabilities, but Dynamics 365 integrates your data, business logic, and processes. So if you see the screen up here, we have ERP solutions, or we call that as a ERP solution module, and underneath it we have its own corresponding applications like finance, supply chain, business central, which is another accounting software to drive your accounting or financial business requirements. Similarly, we have CRM solutions to provide you all the customer engagement related services that can be all the way from sales to customer service and marketing. And then we have the modular solutions. So within the modular solutions, we have Dynamics for Outlook, phones, and tablets. The applications are accessible from anywhere on any device, and there is also a rich array of mobile apps that are available to your discretion. Users can also, I would say, choose to work in email or in Microsoft Teams. So they enjoy an integrated experience within the Dynamics 365 ecosystem. Then we have the AI solution. So AI is an inbuilt intelligence that allows your business users to derive fast and actionable insights, which can be optimized even further with additional AI services built on Azure. So also we have Power BI that gives you a powerful data visualization and analytics tool, and you can use AI or artificial intelligence builder to apply machine learning to improve your business insights and processes. And under mixed reality, modernize your business interacts with applications by visualizing insights in real time, in real world scenarios through the addition of mixed reality. If you ask me for an example, you can scale your on the job training to help your employees get hands-on guidance to improve their skills with Dynamics 365 guides and HoloLens. So if you want to get more additional information, talk to us on that. And then we have the dynamic services. So you get planning services and inventory on hand service. And honestly, I'm not very familiar with that. So let's move on to the next one, which is Power Platform. So finally, under Power Platform, we get Power Apps, Power BI, Power Automate, and Power Virtual Agent that I'll be covering in the later slides. Apart from these business applications that you're seeing on the screen, we have several add-ons also. So add-ons are like plugins which substitute a missing feature for a business app. For example, like Sales Insights. So as per a Sales Insight is like an add-on that uses, artificial intelligence and machine learning to draw analytical data based on your customers' information that is entered within the system. So add-on might be a separate topic of discussion, but today we'll just talk about and focus business applications within the D365 ecosystem. So moving on. Okay, so we'll be talking about the core business applications up here. So the purpose of today's webinar was that I just handpicked some of the core business applications and narrowed them down into 10 major business applications that were very widely used worldwide, depending upon the business needs. So the overview of the business applications will enable you to have a basic understanding of the applications, and that will also enable you to have a dialogue with your customer. Sorry. That will also enable you to, as I was mentioning, to have a dialogue with your clients or stakeholders to understand their needs and propose the relevant business application to meet their business requirements. So moving on. So the first business application that we'll be covering is sales. So in essence of time, I'll be explaining the basic features of business applications here. However, having said that, there is astronomically a lot more than what the app can do. But as I said, 1 hour may not be sufficient to cover everything. So if you wish to understand extensively about a specific application and dive into its nitty-gritty, then I would advise you to please schedule a session with us. So let's talk about sales application. So it is I would say it's a sales automation software. The most simple to understand and the most highly penetrable business application into an account. What I mean is that when you are positioning Dynamics 365 to a client, it is the most widely adopted and highly in demand in the industry. That is also because of the licensing cost and its usage. So D365 sales goes beyond traditional sales force automation. It enables I would say organizations to better understand your customer needs, engage more effectively, and win more deals. So fundamentally, in a sales application, you can capture leads and qualify them and then convert them into an opportunity and then eventually close that account. And this is what happens in any in any sales app. But the sales app is beyond all that. So for example, within the Dynamics sales app, you can keep track of your accounts and contacts. You can nurture your sales all the way from leads to invoicing. You can create sales collateral. One of the good features that I find in the sales app is called the relationship sales. So relationship sales is a functionality. It's an interesting feature for example, what you can do is, so we have the LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is natively integrated within the Dynamics 365 through an add-on called a LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So through this add-on, you can find out if there is anyone who can introduce you to a potential customer in your network. You can also gain insights to help you build a strong relationship with the customer. You can have, it also provides you like a key talking points that you can pitch. It provides you predictive opportunity scoring, provides you notes analysis, and more. So another benefit of this feature is to gain email intelligence, to know how your customers are responding to your emails and what are they doing with those emails through one of the features, that is email tracking within Dynamics 365 sales. So those are some of the features. And talking about industry, or where all are the industries that use sales apps So I've left that open because Sales app is one of the business apps that is applicable to any industry. Whether so, the only criteria is that if you are into sales, if you're selling your product, and if you have a customer base, then sorry about that. Then business Dynamics Sales app is the relevant tool or the relevant software for you. So it helps you manage your sales, and it organizes your customer accounts in a good way. So that's about sales and the industries that it covers. Moving on. So let's talk about human resource. So formerly, human resource app was called as talent. Now, as the name goes, a Dynamics 365 human resources enables customers to optimize compensation, benefits, leave, and absence. It also enables you to comply. It keeps track on your performance feedback. It standardizes training and also provides it's like a self-service programs. So if your customer is asking for, let's say, or you hear the stakeholders talking about people management, or they want to manage compensations, or it's something that is related to HR programs and employee self-service, then human resource is your go-to app. And some of the industries where I have seen human resource being used, again, any industry that has an HR department that manages staff leaves, appraisals, or it even manages performance management, then human resource is a good app. Moving on, our next app is finance. So formerly part of the Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations application product line. Now, finance, as I mentioned, before the restructuring, it was called Finance and Operation, and then post October 2019, Microsoft said, okay, let's split that finance and operations into individual apps. So one app started being called as finance, and the other app I'll be covering after this slide is called supply chain management. Now, finance enables medium and enterprise organizations to monitor the performance of financial operations in real time. It allows you to predict future outcomes and make data-driven decisions to drive your growth. Now, any industry that manages customer and vendors, that issues, invoices and purchase orders to your vendors, it issues general ledgers, will need a finance app. But this app is more relevant for enterprise level organizations. The minimum license requirement criteria is 20 user cals. That's the criteria. And if you're looking for something within the SMB market, then I have an app that will be covering that I'll be covering later on that will meet your requirements. So if your customer has a good budget and is looking for an enterprise level ERP with functionalities like revenue recognition, credit management, accounts receivables, budgeting, accounts payable, then finance is a good business application. Now, when we are talking about industry, I would say any industry with a finance and accounts department that manages all the other basic features that I just mentioned will be finance will be a good application for them. It can be manufacturing, or it can be even banking, distribution, or commercial, as a matter of fact. So that is about finance. Moving on. So our next app is supply chain. So as I mentioned earlier, supply chain was part of the portfolio of finance and operations. Now that's been split. Now operations is kind of called supply chain. And so formerly, as I mentioned, yeah, it's part of the F&O portfolio. Um, It unifies and I would say optimizes business management across the supply chain. So it gives you real-time visibility into warehousing and transportation business processes to reduce your cost, reduce the delivery time, and increase the accuracy. So when you hear your client talking about typical or even your stakeholders talking about typical supply chain related features, like where they want to maintain assets or master planning or distribution or transport management, or they need inventory management or warehouse or even fleet management, they want to manage they have a fleet of cars and they want to manage that, then this is your go-to app. It meets the logistical needs of multinational operations with a distributed order management solution. Now again, sorry, supply chain has a minimum licensing criteria, which is 20 user CALs, so please bear that in mind. And the industries where I have seen supply chain are logistics. I've seen that being used in manufacturing industries, distribution, and also in retail. And moving on, our next app is project service automation. Again, it's also called PSA. It helps your organization efficiently track, manage, and deliver project-based services all the way from the initial sale to invoicing. So when your stakeholders or client is asking or there is a requirement for a project management software that can handle project sales management, project accounting, inventory-based projects, project contract management, resource planning, time and expense scoping, then project service automation is the right app for you. And industries, from an industry perspective, industries that manage projects, resources, as I mentioned earlier, and budgeting, like construction, professional services, will find this as an appropriate app for their within their space. Moving on. Okay, so our next app is Commerce. So Commerce is an omni-channel e-commerce solution that allows you to build a website. It connects physical and digital stores. It tracks your customer behaviors, I would say, and requirements. It delivers personalized experiences. It engages with your customers seamlessly across various channels, with whether it is via portal or phone, chat, you name it, and improve your operations and resource management. And it allows you to also gain a holistic insights to upscale your business. So if your client is looking for or asking to manage let's say loyalty programs and manage online stores integrated with backend systems such as operations, inventory, and resource utilization, then Commerce can be a good fit. So if the client wants to build and customize an e-commerce site, like a portal or like a website with a product detail page with an artificial intelligence product recommendation or purchase or point of sale, and they also want to manage their accounts and they also want to receive some recommendations on what to buy or buy online, pick up in store, then you might go for this app. With all the online transactions going, of course you would like to have a fraud protection app also, so which is again, this is integrated with the Commerce app, which is again out of the box. Now the industries where I have seen Commerce being a right fit is within the retail, manufacturing, and B2C, business to commercials or consumers. Our next app is customer service. So talking about customer service, so in a typical organization, when you win opportunities and close accounts, what do you do post that, or what's your next task? So you begin servicing them in terms of inquiries or service requests, addressing service requests or incidents, or you can call them as even tickets or cases, or you can manage feedbacks. And this is exactly where customer service plays its role. Simple, right? Customer service, it's not very complicated to understand. Now, it allows you to track service level agreements or SLAs, and it ensures cases are acted on within the SLA. It allows you to manage a repository of knowledge based articles to assist in your case resolution. It also helps a team lead to triage cases through the inbuilt workflows and queues. And automatic case assignment is also another feature which is based on business rules. It allows you to approve certain cases, escalations that are inbuilt within the app with the help of workflows and business rules. So another example is that I can quote here is, while servicing, you wish to take a digital signature through DocuSign, let's say, for example, again, which is again an inbuilt feature within the customer service. And the best part is everything is occurring within a single app. So you raise the case, you capture the digital signature from your customer, and then you can close the case right within customer service app. And some of the add-ons that work, uh, as I was mentioning earlier about add-ons, so some of the add-ons that are available from Microsoft that work seamlessly with customer service can allow a customer agent to manage manual chatting with their customers. Virtual chatbots is another feature. You can do phone calls, video calls, and SMS management are another additional features. Not only that, with our artificial intelligence app called Customer Service Insight, you get the most comprehensive 360-degree view of your customers from the transactional, behavioral, and observational data that you have. For example, it can display the top cases and emerging topics that are generating the highest volume of tickets or incidents over a specified period of time, or what is that extra bit that you are doing extra, or you are currently doing, which is causing a spike in your CSAT scores. So all these analytical information can be provided by the Customer Service Insights app. Now, some of the industries where I have seen is, again, I left that open. So any industry, whichever industry has got a customer service team, um, this is a good fit for them, or even call centers. So if you're addressing customer tickets or customer inquiries, then absolutely go for this business application. Again, for customer service, the licensing criteria, we don't have any licensing criteria. It's like minimum you can go with as low as one licensing cal to it's up to your discretion. Okay, moving on. The next app is called Marketing. Now, under Dynamics 365 for Marketing, it aims to give companies the tools they need to generate and foster more leads by automating many of their fundamental marketing processes. So the app equips businesses with the ability to create, run, and manage multi-channel campaigns and events via email, websites, mobile phones, etc., as well as scrutinize the effectiveness of their efforts with an in-depth, I would say, marketing analytics. So the app supports communications across various platforms such as email, web landing pages, webinars, calls, in-person events, and social media. And one of its core function is the creation of personalized targeted email campaigns based on the customer's previous contact and activities through its dedicated email marketing service. So once the emails are sent, like a bulk email from the app, you can track them. For example, who opened my email, which link did they click, or did it bounce, or who's unsubscribed from my email, how many were the soft bounces, how many were the hard bounces, etc. So event management is another capability that is also included within the marketing app. So businesses can deliver self-service portals for conferences in events and manage and deliver webinars. So some of the industries are digital agencies, marketing divisions, and companies that have a requirement for driving campaigns and marketing events. Moving on, let's talk about field service. So let's say you have clients with technicians going to the field and fixing things, and the client is looking for an app to track work orders through creation, scheduling, dispatch, delivery, all the way to customer invoicing. Then this is the app for you or for your customer. Now the app allows to schedule resources for items like work orders or any scenario where a resource needs to be scheduled to complete a work order. I have items noted on their schedule. So work orders can be generated from customer service cases through website or customer portals, or even within email. So for example, the moment your customer is sending an email with a inquiry or request through Outlook, you can qualify and you can convert that into a work order and can be managed and reordered in real time. So for example, let me give you an example here, and I love giving examples, so you can correlate your real life example here with this one. So a maintenance company that deals with fridges and ACs, they create work orders and they schedule technicians based on their skill and availability. They create rosters for the next job using, so that's their typical nature of work. Now the technician can see the next job in hand in his mobile device based on his skill, location, and availability. And while he is on the move, his movement can be tracked via the GPS system inbuilt within the app by the dispatcher. So this is what happens within the field service. So once the technician fixes the job, he can close the work order and raise the invoice on the fly to the client. And this is in a nutshell what field service does. So it's quite comprehensive than what I just explained, but that's what it does. And some of the industries, or some of the features that field service addresses are resource management. It provides resource scheduling, dashboard resource scheduling, resource planning, customer assets management, and IoT alert AI-based suggestions. Some of the industries are managed services and maintenance companies, as I quoted just now. Companies who are dispatching technicians and they want to track the tech movement of the technician and the progress about their work orders, what's going on in real time, then field service is your app. Okay, moving on. Um, Business Central. Now, Business Central Dynamics 365. Business Central is Microsoft's leading solution for SMEs. One of the, I would say, leading Microsoft business application products. Business Central is an extremely flexible solution. It's easily adaptable to the needs of the geographies and customers. So what it can do? Well, if your client is looking for an accounting software with the following features, let's say finance and accounting, operations, supply chain, project management, then Business Central is the right app for them. It includes at no charge 3 external accountant licenses for customers who have external accountants who wish to connect to their Dynamics 365 Business Central application. So like if you remember, I was talking about Dynamics 365 Finance app before. So unlike Finance, BC or Business Central has no user limit, no minimum user licensing criteria. You can start with one user cal, so you can start as small as you need. Cheaper entry point for small, medium-sized companies interested in using Microsoft solutions. It is flexible and allows you to easily add capability and users when you need it. So let me give you an example here. So please bear with me for a moment. So when you receive a request from a customer in the form of an email requesting for a quote with certain line items being mentioned within your email, you can view a 360-degree relationship view of the customer account right within Outlook through Business Central that is natively again integrated with your Outlook. So you can and then raise a more informed quote right within the Outlook with all the line items being pulled in from Business Central accounting business application with artificial intelligence suggesting line items based on the email from the customer. And while you are doing that, you want to you know chat with your team member just to understand what's going on. If you have some questions before you address the code, if you want before you send that, you want to get some question addressed or call them to understand few aspects of the code, then you can also reach out via Teams by using the business collaborative functionality, which is again seamlessly integrated within the app. So through Teams, you can share the account details and the code details. So once everything is finalized, you can then send the code right within through Outlook. And so if you're keen to know more about the licensing cost of the app or gain more functional understanding, then feel free to give us a call. We'll be more than happy to address that. And from an industry perspective, as I mentioned, any SME industry with a finance and account department or whose needs are basic financial accounting requirements, then Business Central is a good fit for them. Okay, moving on. Okay, Power Apps. Um, so those were the 10 core business applications that fall part of the D365 portfolio. Now we'll be talking about Power Apps. The last app, but none the least, you must have heard about everyone talking about Power Apps, Power Apps, Power Apps. Now, although part of the D365 family, but Power Platform has its own separate portfolio. Yes, it has got its own separate portfolio, but does end of the day fall part of the same family. Now, a Power Platform can be used to build custom and automated experiences around your data and processed using Power BI, Power Apps, and Power Automate with zero to minimal coding. So as a user, you can safely build custom application experiences on their own by leveraging the point and click app creation experience in Power Apps. Uh, which is I have seen very similar to building PowerPoint slides. It's like just like drag and drop without having any prior coding or development or technical experience. Uh, so let me give you a scenario on Power Apps, especially during the ongoing COVID situation that we are having. So in order to address and help track critical resources, coordinate crisis communications, and create a crisis response bot, I've seen partners have built patient scheduling and screening apps to help healthcare providers scale and manage COVID-19 screening and assessments through Power Apps. And that's the power of the business app. Traditionally, in order to address such requirements, you would have ended up in developing an in-house custom app written in, I would say, in .NET or in Java platform, and that would obviously take months of development work. But with Power Apps, you can expedite your implementation timeline. It doesn't affect your budget or your cost. So with Power Apps, with the low code, no code product capability model, you can easily supplement that missing feature by developing your own app features through Power Apps by dragging and dropping. And then use Power Automate to automate certain workflows associated with the apps, and then integrate with other third-party apps through hundreds of pre-built connectors covering popular data platforms to get notifications, synchronize your files, collect your data. Again, as I mentioned, no code, low code. So in this way, you minimize the implementation and budget and lower your budget cost. So some of the industries that I have seen and it's using within our healthcare, you have finance and banking and manufacturing, and some of the elite companies that are using our NASCAR. We have Atkins in under healthcare. Standard Bank is also using Power Apps. Okay, so moving on. So now that we have covered business applications, so let me quickly cover some of the aspects around the infrastructure support. Now, I will quickly cover this slide. So as a technical decision maker or influencer for your organization, business value aside, you might be wondering what all of this means for you to run your IT and business operations today. So if you are coming from an on-premise hosting space, or operationally, there are loads of advantages of adopting a SaaS solution in terms of reducing your infrastructure cost and access to the continuous innovation offered by Dynamics 365. So especially with the ongoing COVID situation, a lot of companies are adopting the SaaS business model. So let's talk about availability. Because Dynamics 365 natively runs on Azure, it benefits from Microsoft's expansive cloud fabric and data centers globally. To give you a peace of mind, Microsoft operates their services to meet a 99.9% level of availability. You can learn more at aka.ms/D365SLA. And if your users are spread across different locations, you can even host your D365 services and your data in preferred data center regions around the world in proximity to your users to reduce latency. Let's talk about security. So in terms of security and privacy, it's your data and you own it. Microsoft doesn't do any marketing or advertising with your data. So importantly, you are given a granular admin controls to define individual access or security groups. And you can also specify access rules within the specific fields used in the app experience to remove sensitive information from you, and for example to set read and only write access, or even just give them a read only access. So equally, you are even given encryption options. So for example, you can use your own encryption keys to protect data from unauthorized access, viewing, or even exporting data outside the business app. So that's security. Now let's talk about compliance. So as you would expect, Dynamics 365 is a GDPR compliant and supports major global government, regional, and industry regulations. So to learn more about Dynamics 365 security and compliance, you can download the guide that is showing up on your screen at aka.ms/D365 security compliance. Okay, moving on. So I come up with this it's called like a Brainbuster. So let's assume you are in front of your customer or your client or even with your stakeholder, and they are talking about a specific issue that they are facing. And so this is just to jostle your brains and see if you can come up with an answer. So they are talking like, I need to build a strong relationships with my customers and take actions based on insights and close sales are faster. Which of these D365 products enables you to do that? Uh, can you guess which one will be the relevant business app here based on the question? So we have Dynamics 365 Sales, we have Dynamics 365 Customer Service, Dynamics 365 Field Service, and Dynamics 365 Marketing. So if you can take a guess, I'll just give a few seconds. If you can put the answer in the chat panel, that'll be great. Yeah, so you guessed it right. So it's called Dynamics 365 for Sales. Okay, moving on. So I just prepared a Dynamics 365 toolkit that will enable you to further your learning knowledge experience within the D365 space. So we have Dynamics 365 demos if you want to provision a demo instance, how you can do it. This sheet is going to provide you the instructions, trials, demos. It even provides you partner sales playbooks for Dynamics 365, Ingram micro event and webinars that we'll be hosting in future from a D365. If you want to access some of the documentations, you can stay up to date with the latest product releases and some of the videos that is hosted by YouTube channel in the various within the various portfolio. It will give you an insight on that, and then also some of the business application competencies that we have, and also it's also provides a Power Apps, which is again a different portfolio within D365. So it's talking about what is Power Apps. You want to learn more on Power Automate, Power BI, you can visit those links from there. Okay, so that brings us to the end of our session. So we have the Q&A session. I'll just give few minutes. I'll just go on mute and wait for you guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to post that in the chat window and I'll be more than happy to address it. So I have a question here. It says, my company doesn't have in-house D365 skills. How do I accomplish that? So, so I would say there are two ways to go about it. Number one is if you are seeking immediate assistance in implementing or rolling out a D365 project, then we will put you across our P2P program. It's called Partner to Partner. What exactly happens in this program is that we have collaborated at a global level with some elite partners who will work closely with you to implement your project. The second motion I would say is if you're not looking to roll out D365, but it is just to acquire some basic skills. You want to learn more, you want to even set up a D365 practice, then we have co-designed or co-tailored with Microsoft a practice builder, which is again a set of guidelines that will walk you through some of the basic step by step to accomplish your goals in the D365 space. So every single task has got a timeline that will give you an insight on how much days or hours it's going to take for you to accomplish. And once you accomplish that, that will take you to the next step, and eventually you will be an expert. But that's, again, it's like a journey, and that is why I'm here to walk you through, hold your hands and walk you through that D365 journey to enable you in the ecosystem. Okay, I guess that was the one question we had. Let's move on. So that's the Q&A session. So the next will be our polling session. I would request all of you to please participate in this polling session. You will be given few questions. Please feel free to provide your feedback, your inputs that will enable us to drive our future webinars and what you think about this. So you will be seeing that popping up on your screen, the polling. So we'll give 30 seconds for every single um, question, and then we can move to the next poll. So if you are given your inputs to our polls, then I would like to thank you, every one of you, for participating in my D365 crash course webinar. I would like to see you all for my next webinar that we'll be reaching out to you shortly. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.